Hey everybody, welcome back to the Vince Salerno podcast. This is episode 98. As always, I'm your host, Vince Salerno. Wow, 98 episodes. We're getting really close to 100. It's been a while. It's taken me a while to get to this point, but I'm excited. I got some plans that hopefully will come to fruition with episode 100. Keeping it under wraps, probably until the episode comes out, so you'll find out when it comes out what episode 100 will be. Thank you all who checked out my previous episode on the good, the bad, and the ugly with my dad. That's something that's been in the works for a couple months now. And I'm really glad we did it because, one, I love that movie. I have an even bigger respect for that movie, having watched it again with my dad. And reviewing it with my dad was really special because, again, he introduced me to all these different Westerns growing up. It's definitely informed my taste in movies, my approach to filmmaking. And yeah, I don't know what type of person I'd be if it wasn't for my parents introducing me to the movies that they introduced me to. So eternally grateful to them. Also, I have to shout out my mom because while they were visiting us, she helped me, she and my wife both helped me redo my setup here. So if you're watching on YouTube or wherever you were able to watch, maybe Spotify, you'll notice that we got some wallpaper up here. We got so just a slightly new setup with the set, kind of more filmmaking, movie-inspired stuff here. I got my action figures, my Peace Out sign that I found at TJ Maxx a couple years ago, and some books, picture of me and my wife. And then we got more religious stuff here, St. Joseph, Terror of Demons, Pray for Us, and some religious books. Gotta have the Bible handy always. And a picture with me and my son for Father's Day. And I think you can see all that. If you can't, I apologize if it's off camera. It's hard to tell on the software I use to record here. But yeah, this is my new setup. It'll probably change ever so slightly as I continue to tweak things. I'm not married to everything how it looks right now, but you know, we'll see how it goes. But hope you guys like this. It's a nice little change of pace with the boring wall, and I like this color. All right, so what are we talking about today? Today, we're going to discuss something that I've had thoughts about for a while, never actually articulated. Something that has been discussed since, since the first Avengers came out, maybe, and that's superhero fatigue. And it's kind of timely that I chose to talk about this today. I decided over the week that I would discuss superhero fatigue upon recording this. And a interesting quote came out from the Wall Street Journal from Kevin Feige. I think he was doing interviews for Thunderbolts. Let me read you what he said. This is via a tweet from Culture Crave. Kevin Feige reportedly told Marvel colleagues that watching every new MCU project had begun to feel more like homework than entertainment. Employees talked regularly about Marvel fatigue and worry they've created a no new fans club where new viewers had no clue of what was going on. This is all leading to a reduction in their yearly slate, which was originally upped due to demand for Disney Plus content. So it's important to point out that Disney mandated with every studio, not just Marvel, not just Pixar, every facet of Disney had to prioritize their existing work while also prioritizing Disney Plus content. And look how that turned out. Some good results. The Mandalorian, WandaVision, Loki, those shows really hit off on Disney Plus. But as time went on, the quality dipped. Not as many shows performed as well as they have. Even Andor, I think season two just came out, and I don't think it's performing how they expected it to. So this Disney Plus exclusive content has not been working out. It hasn't been working out it hasn't given them the best results. And so I think that is because nobody really wanted to make Disney Plus content. Pixar, you look at Pixar's Disney Plus content, the stuff that they were forced, like you all see Pixar popcorn. I love Pixar, but that was the worst Pixar project I have ever seen. And it was just, I remember like back when I was a real fanboy, I remember getting up early in the morning to watch all the, because they dropped them all at once. And it was like an event. It was like, oh, cool. This is like some Toy Story shorts, some Finding Nemo shorts, some Incredible shorts. Like, oh, are these going to be returning cast members coming back? Like, there was very little details known about them. Just they were like little bite-sized shorts. And they ended up being minimal dialogue, archival audio shorts that was kind of like scraping the bottom of the barrel to figure out how to make content. And it was really disappointing. There was a Toy Story one in particular with Buzz Lightyear where he was like, I think it was called like to Fitness and Beyond or something, where he was trying to get all the toys to work out and nobody was able to do it. And then he sees that like all the other toys have their own way of working out and they all work out together in the end. No dialogue. It was like 30 seconds, maybe longer, but like it was totally inconsequential. They used unused improvisational dialogue with Key and Peele to do a Ducky and Bunny short where they were like riffing off of Bo Peep's sheep having 3 heads, which was fun because, I mean, I love Key and Peele. They're some of my favorite comedians. So it was fun for that, but it was very inconsequential again. It's about as inconsequential as the Forky Asks a Question shorts, which at the very least, those were a full-fledged production that included the voice actors, the original cast returning to reprise their roles. This was just like, oh, we have some grunts from Mr. Incredible. Let's use that to make a short where he's fighting for the last cookie with his kids. Just stuff like that. Really disappointing. And at the very least, Marvel, you know, they made full-fledged productions. They made Moon Knight. They made some of the animated shows, What If, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, X-Men 97, the previous shows I mentioned, Loki, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, WandaVision, all of which were mixed results. I like WandaVision. I admit it has its problems, but I like the show overall. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, as I've said on this podcast, is like the most disappointing Marvel show, one of the worst things they've ever produced, in my opinion. Just so negative and just backwards thinking. Horrible show. Loki was good, very, surprisingly good, despite the woke stuff that they tried to infuse in that show as well. Moon Knight started out great and just got weird and just it fizzled out for me. I didn't really enjoy it. I don't remember it. What If had a strong start and then it just kind of petered out. I don't think anybody watched the 3rd and final season. The only one of those shows that really got multiple seasons, live action wise, was Loki. Loki got 2 seasons, then it was done. Miss Marvel, I think I hear mixed things about Miss Marvel. It doesn't really appeal to me, but I know there are some people who defend Miss Marvel saying it was a decent show. It just doesn't appeal to me. No, nothing against Miss Marvel, or the character or the actress or the show. Just not my cup of tea. Daredevil, surprisingly, didn't even make the Nielsen charts, I think. And I like Daredevil. I didn't think it was as good as the Netflix show, but they're you know, for what it is, I think it was the best we were going to get from Disney doing a continuation of the Netflix series. I'm going to get into my thoughts on Daredevil Born Again someday in a video, but not here. And so again, Marvel, all this is just to say that Marvel and all these other facets of Disney, they were forced to make content for a streaming service that I don't think really fit what the audience was looking for. I mean, certainly we can talk for days about how certain shows with Lucasfilm didn't hit the way they should. The Mandalorian is, without a doubt, the biggest success they've ever had on Disney+. You can argue season 1 of Andor was a big hit, well received. I'm trying to get through it right now, and it's a little slow, but It's good so far. It's good so far. That's all I can really say. Um, you had the spin-offs, the Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka. I really like Ahsoka. Book of Boba Fett was fun, but you can't argue that the show got a little away from itself when they started to make it the Mandalorian season 2.5, which I liked those scenes. So, like, are you kidding me? Like Luke Skywalker and Grogu, like some of the greatest Luke Skywalker scenes we've ever gotten. Phenomenal stuff. And he got to meet Ahsoka. I mean, are you kidding me? It was incredible. It's like what everybody has wanted from Star Wars. And of course, now we're at a point where Star Wars content is like at an all-time low. I don't think Andor season 2 is charting based on what I've heard. I don't know for sure. This is what I've heard. The Acolyte, one of the worst things Star Wars has ever produced, Lucasfilm, performed so badly and was so poorly received by fans that it was canceled after one season. And then it remains to be seen if other shows will hit off. Like, I know there was a Darth Maul series announced that people are really excited for because it's going to reuse elements of George Lucas's prequel films. And then you've got Ahsoka season 2, which I'm really looking forward to. They're bringing back Anakin Skywalker. I just love everything Ahsoka did with the Force, with Anakin, with the World Between Worlds, and Ahsoka's journey, bringing in the Rebels story, continuing that, Grand Admiral Thrawn, and how season 2 seems to be just as big, if not bigger. I really enjoyed Ahsoka. Flaws and all, I really enjoyed it. And even Skeleton Crew. Skeleton Crew did not perform at all. But Skeleton Crew is actually good. It was a good show. I think it would have actually done better as a movie, which is the problem with a lot of these Disney Plus series, is that most of them feel like they're movies stretched out to be 8 hours. And I just don't think that's a winning strategy to tell good TV, especially on a streaming service. Daredevil did the service of giving it a 8-episode run, and it felt like a show. It didn't feel like a movie stretched out. So I'm making this over a long, complicated point, but all I'm simply saying is that Disney Plus kind of ruined Disney a little bit because it forced creatives to make content that really didn't fit what people wanted. And I don't think that content has aged well particularly. And I think Disney Plus works better as a service that just retains and is a home for Disney content. Now, I'm also the person who's saying that streaming services need to stop, that studios need to stop making their own streaming services, and we need to get back to 1 or 2 streaming services. We need like Hulu and Netflix. That's it. I don't think studios are able to maintain these services properly. I mean, Max or HBO Max, whatever the hell it's called these days, they keep pulling animated content. I don't think you can watch any Looney Tunes. I don't think you can watch any they just pulled something recently. It might have been Tom and Jerry. They pulled Tom and Jerry all from HBO Max. Where is that content gonna go? Well, I guess now it's streaming on Tubi. At least I think Tom and Jerry is. Which proves the point that like we can't keep like gatekeeping this content to 1 or 2 services run by these studios, because one, it's not even cost effective. Nobody is going to pay for 20 different services, especially when you can just buy it on physical media, own it outright, and not have to worry about it. That's what I'm advocating for. But if we're going to have streaming services, we need to get back to what we used to do, which is 1 or 2 services, maybe 2 or 3. I don't know, like 3 or 4 at the max. I'm just going to put a number. Let's just say 4. 4 streaming services where various deals are made with various different studios, and you can have all the content for every movie, every TV show live in circulation throughout these 4 services. That seems to be the most cost-effective thing. I guarantee you, if Warner Brothers, Disney, Universal, all of these companies, if they stopped trying to like stopped trying to maintain these services, they would make a much bigger profit splitting the profit with other people. Now, of course, there's the argument that these studios want all the profit to themselves. But how much of a profit are they actually making with these services? Because password sharing is a thing, account sharing is a thing. I know they're trying to crack down on it, but it's still a problem. One I'm not really concerned about, honestly. But I just think that if these studios want to stop staying in bankruptcy or on the verge of bankruptcy, which a lot of them I think are, there is an existential threat in that regard. I think cutting the streaming services is the first move. They do that and they keep it at one or two services. That seems like the win-win for everybody. But I don't think they have the self-awareness to step back and admit to that, because everybody just wants the piece of the pie. So remains to be seen. But thanks for coming to my TED Talk about streaming services and how out of hand they're getting. Sorry, I got on a tangent there. So let's get back to the main topic. So superhero fatigue. Kevin Feige is talking about Marvel fatigue or superhero fatigue, and it's been talked about for years. Before I give my full thoughts on it, I want to talk about Marvel and DC in particular. Let's just talk about what's been happening recently, because there's a lot. I mean, I'm recording this on the weekend of the release of the Thunderbolts. I'm going to see it next week, and I'll have some sort of review up in some capacity, whether on Instagram or YouTube. Or, I mean, it'll be everywhere, but I don't know if it'll be a short or if it'll be an actual video. We'll see. But I want to talk about where we're at with Marvel, with DC, with superhero films, and if we're in a state of superhero fatigue. Like, is it happening? And if it is, what's the result? And if it's not, why are things so bad? So let's first talk about some of the news that has come out. First off, Thunderbolts came out. Fantastic critical scores on Rotten Tomatoes. I know there are other sites that post other critic scores. I usually follow Rotten Tomatoes because it's just the easiest number. It's an aggregate. Everyone knows Rotten Tomatoes. It's definitely not a marker of whether you should or should not see a movie. If you're looking for the critical reception, fine, but I don't make my decisions on what movies I want to see based on what Rotten Tomatoes says, and I don't think you should either. Just see what you want to see. That's what I've always been an advocate of. See what interests you. Don't just look at Rotten Tomatoes or Metacritic or whatever to determine whether you should see something or not. Make your own decisions. But Rotten Tomatoes score, I believe from what I can remember, critic score is at 89%. Audience score is at 95. Now that's amazing. That is like old school Avengers movie numbers. That's insane. And I'm very happy to see Marvel make a good movie. It's been well received. Seemingly, a lot of people who I follow and talk to have said that it feels like an old school Marvel film. And there's some things that some audiences may not like. I haven't really heard much about wokeness or anything like that, which hopefully Marvel is just doing away with, because I think it's very clear we don't want to see any of that crap in our movies, specifically in Marvel movies. So that's good. I'm excited for Thunderbolts. I hope it's good. I know there's not a lot of appeal with these B-list heroes or even C-list heroes, but I think that is the if Marvel can make this movie work, bunch of B-list heroes that no one cares about, and make us care about them, that is the type of energy that made Guardians of the Galaxy such a well-received movie. So if we can get that energy with Thunderbolts, I think you got a recipe for success here. So let's see. Moving on to another bit of news. So Marvel has got a good reception here with Thunderbolts, right? Everyone's liking it, critics and audiences. I think it's going to be well received. But then I think Thursday, you got this blow. And I don't think he intended for this to be a blow to them, but this guy's a national treasure. Jeremy Renner came out and said, this is an article via Variety. Jeremy Renner turned down Hawkeye season 2 because he was offered half his season 1 salary. Quote, "Do you think I'm only half the Jeremy because I got ran over?" That is sad. This is a savage takedown. So Jeremy Renner was doing an interview with with High Performance, which I don't know what that is. High Performance is it a podcast? This was from a clip on TikTok I believe from High Performance, and I'm trying to get the High Performance podcast. There we go. I've never heard of that podcast before, but he was on it. I think he was promoting his new memoir, and he was asked about like, when are you coming back for Hawkeye? You're going to do another season of Hawkeye, or you're going to be another movie? And then he talked about they asked him to do season 2, offered him half the money. He says, well, it's going to take me twice the amount of work for half the amount of money. 8 months of my time, essentially, to do it for half the amount doesn't make sense. And it's obviously very insulting, considering everything he's been through, and the fact that he's like bounced back so strongly from this injury. So thankful that that was not the end for him, and that he wasn't. I mean, he was told he would never be able to walk. The fact that he can still act, he can still perform, he can still do his own stunts, amazing. But it's going to take a little more energy, a little more effort to do the show, because he got ran over. Very insulting, I think, for Disney and Marvel to offer him half the amount, especially given everything he's been through. Now, to their credit, Jeremy Renner did say, like, he doesn't think this is Marvel, this is Disney, this is like the penny pinchers who decide how much that financially makes sense for them to offer him for Disney's sake. Still doesn't, I mean, it's still Disney, it's still Marvel offering them that money. So, I mean, I'm sure if Kevin Feige had something to say about it, he would probably be like, yeah, no, that's not a good idea. But, I mean, Marvel's in a pinch right now. Disney's in a pinch, and a financial pinch, so it makes sense that they couldn't offer him that much. But, I mean, come on, it's Jeremy Renner, one of the OG Avengers, one of the only OG Avengers whose character is still alive. Why are you not going to offer him a respectful amount? So that was a bit of a blow. It definitely adds some fuel to the MCU Marvel hater circle, which I'm not bashing. I mean, you have every right to hate Marvel, every right to criticize Marvel and Disney altogether. I've definitely been on that track for years now. But I also believe that we should celebrate their successes as well as call out their failures and their mistakes, because that's how they learn, if they are willing to learn. And it seems like they're learning the right lessons with Thunderbolts. And hey, say what you want about how horrible Captain America 4 was. At least they tried to fix it. They tried to reshoot it. They tried to cut out all the anti-Trump bullcrap that they were trying to pull with that movie. And they tried to make a decent movie. I will not fault them for that. Even with, oh gosh, wasn't there another show or movie that got reshot to Kingdom Come? Oh, I can't remember. So that's a bit of a blow. And I don't think Thunderbolts is really going to shift the needle too far to convince normies or even just general Marvel fans that we're back. I think we got a ways to go before we decide Marvel's back. I mean, they've proven that they can make great movies that are not divisive and are not insulting. Deadpool and Wolverine, and now Thunderbolts. And now, in hindsight, I don't think Deadpool and Wolverine is as good of a movie. I think there are definitely some narrative problems in there, but and obviously Ryan Reynolds' ego and the whole Justin Baldoni situation, it's not a good look. not a good look. But it is what it is. And, you know, despite those things, I still think Deadpool Wolverine is a good movie. And I think most fans would agree with that. So again, they're getting into a good spot. They're slowly winning fans back. Daredevil, again, was mostly well received. I think there were some fans, including myself, that had some issues with certain things, but it's been mostly well received by fans, which is, again, a good thing. But all of this is coming back to Avengers Doomsday. Doomsday has to be a hit. Everything everything with the reshoots for Captain America, the retooling of Thunderbolts, retooling of Fantastic Four, everything has been to make Doomsday the biggest hit it can be. And even greater than that, Secret Wars. Both of these films have to absolutely deliver, not even just because of where Marvel is at currently, culturally, which is not a great place, but because of what these two films are trying to do. This is about bringing a culmination, not just to the MCU, every Marvel film that has ever existed, for the most part. You're talking like the original Spider-Man movies, Eric Bana's Hulk, Ghost Rider, Ben Affleck's Daredevil and Elektra, Punisher. I mean, everything. Every Marvel movie, every Marvel character, anybody who has played a Marvel character, big Marvel character, outside of the MCU, especially the X-Men, all of this is to bring that to a grand culmination. And also to kind of ironically fix all the continuity issues that have been plaguing Marvel, I mean, since they sold off the rights to Spider-Man and all these characters, Hulk included, to reset the MCU, bring everything under one universe, and my hope, have a brand new clean slate. And I mean, look, I'm excited for Doomsday. I really am. I think it's a great move to try to get Robert Downey Jr. to come back, him being Dr. Doom. And I think there's a rumor going around that he's playing multiple versions of Iron Man. I agree with that. I think that makes sense, because it just doesn't make sense to just bring him back as Dr. Doom. Or sorry, not bring him back, but bring him in to play Dr. Doom if you're not going to bring him back as Iron Man. If he's going to be a villain, bring back the hero too. So, yeah, I just think that makes sense. Same with Chris Evans. I'm here. He's playing. You're going to see him play a good Captain America and an evil Captain America, and maybe even a third. Like, you're going to see variants. This is the culmination of the multiverse saga. And I know people are kind of tired of the multiverse thing, but this is kind of like what it should have been from the beginning. It should have been Spider-Man, Deadpool, Wolverine, like all sorts of movies like that, pulling from OG characters, Blade, doing fun fan casts like Channing Tatum as Gambit, John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, who should have definitely been Mr. Fantastic in the Fantastic Four movie. Just saying. Still don't love Pedro Pascal's casting, but I will reserve full judgment till I see him on the big screen. So we'll see. Yeah, just like big casting like this. It's all about the multiverse. It's all about the fun of the multiverse and seeing Spider-Man, all the different generations of Spider-Man interact, everything Marvel's ever done under one roof, and then resetting. So that's exciting. That's why I'm excited for Doomsday. And I want to get into a rumor that's going around from Jeff Snyder, the In-Snyder, about a rumored additional cast list. So you remember those that 8-hour video of all the chairs of Chris Hemsworth, everybody who they could get to sign on, at least in the first block of filming, it seems, signing on. You had Chris Hemsworth returning, the Fantastic Four, the Thunderbolts, Ant-Man, Loki, the Black Panther cast, the original X-Men cast, and then Robert Downey Jr. topping it all off. Well, Jeff Snyder just tweeted out a rumored list of maybe the next round of characters that they're going to announce that will be returning for Secret Wars. So we're going to go through this. I'll pull up the tweet here so you guys can watch and listen with me. So, rumored. I guess if we see another announcement video with a bunch of chairs next week, we'll know that this is actually legit. Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner, the Hulk. Benedict Wong as Wong. Brie Larson as Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel. Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop, Hawkeye. Don Cheadle as James Rhodes, War Machine. Karen Gillan as Nebula. Jeremy Renner as Clint Barton, Hawkeye. That's cool that they're bringing him back. I guess he was willing to, I don't know how, maybe they offered him the right amount for this if he's rumored to, if he's actually going to be coming back. Iman Vellani as Miss Marvel. Dania Guria, I don't know how to say that name, as Okoye. Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie. Ke Huy Quan as OB. I'm guessing that's his character from Loki. Teyana Paris as Monica Rambeau, Photon. Will Poulter as Adam Warlock. Dominique Thorne as Riri Williams, Ironheart. Zocti Gomez as America Chavez. Sophia DiMartino as Sylvie. Tatiana Maslany as She-Hulk. Yahya Abdul Mati as Wonder Man. Oh, that's interesting. Catherine Newton as Cassie Lang. Wumi Mosaku as B-15. Lashana Lynch as Monica Rambeau, Binary. Famke Janssen as Jean Grey. Halle Berry as Storm. Kai Zen as Phyla. I believe that's Phyla's from Guardians of the Galaxy 3. She's one of the newer members of the team. Owen Wilson as Morbius. Chris Pratt as Star-Lord. Samuel Jackson as Nick Fury. Charlize Theron as Clea. Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. Haley Atwell as Peggy Carter. And to top it off, Chris Evans as Steve Rogers, Captain America. No Tom Holland. No Evangeline Lilly. No Paul Bettany. No Elizabeth Olsen. No Oscar Isaac. No May Kalamawe. Sorry. No Charlie Cox or John Bernthal. And no Sean Gunn. Sean Gunn being, oh my gosh, what's his character's name? Kraggle. Or Kraglin in Guardians of the Galaxy. Nebula is reportedly taking his place. I guess maybe he's tied up with the DCU, or maybe to be loyal to his brother, he's not coming back to Marvel, which makes sense. And then additionally, in the voiceover mocap, Bradley Cooper as Rocket, Vin Diesel as Groot, and Maria Bakalova as Cosmo. So, first off, the thing that is apparent to me, the Guardians are coming back. And not just Chris Pratt. I thought we'd be done with the Guardians for a little bit. We'd give them a rest before we had someone else try to take on a new take on the Guardians franchise. But no, you got Chris Pratt, you got Nebula, you got Drax isn't coming back, which we knew. Drax is out of the game. He's retired. And Dave Bautista, loyalty to James Gunn, is not coming back. And this is why what James Gunn did was so cool. Like, he didn't kill off the Guardians in Guardians 3. He gave everybody an open door to come back if they wanted to. No slack if they, didn't want to, or if they want to stay loyal to him. If they he didn't box him and I'm taking the Guardians with me. You're never gonna get them. No, he didn't do that. He didn't kill anybody. He gave everybody an open window to come back or let their stories be told if they wanted them to be told. So it seems to be the case that the new Guardians crew, with the exception of Kraglin, is coming back, including Nebula and including Rocket and Groot. So it'll be cool to see a Guardians reunion, especially with Chris Pratt's Star-Lord being taking a break from the Guardians and spending time with his grandpa, which was a really sweet way to end his character arc in that journey. And it'll be cool to see how they continue his character in this new iteration of the franchise, if this list is accurate. Let me clarify that. If this list is accurate, and it, I don't have any reason to believe that it's not, but we just don't know for sure. Cool to see that they're getting the remaining OG Avengers back beyond just Chris Hemsworth. So Clint Barton, Hawkeye, Jeremy Renner is coming back, it looks like. Mark Ruffalo is the Hulk. That's good. A lot of controversial picks are coming back. Of course, Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, America Chavez, Ironheart, Tatiana Maslany's She-Hulk. These are not really well-beloved characters in the MCU. Just go look at Ollie's and see how many Riri Williams and She-Hulks and Captain Marvels you can find, because I'm sure you can find some. But I have always been a fan of, if Marvel has a character that does not work, that the fans don't appreciate, another filmmaker can find a way to make them work. And look, you're not going to love every character. Not every character is going to be a hit in these movies. I mean, with the size of these movies and the different genres and types of films these are, not every character is going to be beloved, and that's okay. So as long as they don't take up too much screen time, I'm fine with the controversial characters being in there, especially if you can rewrite somebody like She-Hulk. I think She-Hulk was such a disservice to the character because so many people, myself included, were excited for She-Hulk being in the MCU because she's a genuinely fun character. And I think they just did her dirty. They just made her this like very narcissistic feminist. And I don't think that's what people wanted in She-Hulk. And I mean, let's be honest. Tatiana Maslany's comments were not helping the situation at all. Of course, the biggest thing here, of course, is that Doctor Strange is coming back. That's awesome. Finally going to get a full-on appearance from Charlize Theron as Clea. And long-standing rumors that Chris Evans and Haley Atwell are both coming back as Peggy Carter and Steve Rogers. It would make sense if Peggy was the Captain Carter variant, and we get a chance to see her again. And then, again, Chris Evans coming back as multiple versions of Steve Rogers. That seems to be the big thing. No Tom Holland. That really sucks, especially since this whole movie's been built up as an emotional reunion with Tony Stark and Spider-Man, and now you're not going to get that in Secret Wars, in Doomsday. Just doesn't make a lot of sense. Kind of a missed opportunity. Yeah, I guess we'll see. I guess that maybe they're saving that for Secret Wars. There's rumors that Robert Downey Jr. might show up in Spider-Man Brand New Day, which might introduce that element of Peter Parker's mentor coming back on screen and him being emotionally phased by that. It just seems like a missed opportunity to do that in Doomsday, but we'll see. Evangeline Lilly not coming back makes sense. She's apparently retired from acting. It's a shame because she got shafted as the Wasp. I wish they did more with her. I think she's a great actress. I think the Wasp is a great character, and they just underutilized her so much. So I hate it. I really don't like it. Doesn't make sense that Vision's not in this. Apparently Elizabeth Olsen has been telling the truth and that she's not in Doomsday. We'll see if that's true. Weird that Oscar Isaac's not coming back either. And definitely concerning that Charlie Cox and John Bernthal aren't coming back, unless all this is being saved for Secret Wars. I mean, all these actors who aren't in the film could easily come back in Secret Wars. So it's a little concerning, but it makes sense. More X-Men characters are confirmed. Famke Janssen as Jean Grey and Halle Berry as Storm is great. Where are Deadpool and Wolverine? They're nowhere in this. I think that's weird. Again, like, unless they're saving it for Secret Wars, which it wouldn't make sense to not include Wolverine, especially if Wolverine is part of that original trio, original group of X-Men characters. So, yeah, I don't like that they're not including him. Deadpool, you can take or leave. I just don't care about Deadpool as a character. I know he's great in the movies. I like his arc, but he's not my favorite character. So this is an interesting list. We'll see if we get another announcement and if all of these actors are the actors that get announced in the next round of cast release, which who knows when that'll come out. Maybe this week that this kind of has leaked, it'll kind of confirm things. Maybe we'll get another video like that where we'll have Chris Evans sit down in the chair instead of Robert Downey Jr. That'd be fun. I actually would like to see that. That video had millions of views, and it shows that people still care about these movies. They still want to see Marvel succeed. So it's very interesting. Also, apparently, speaking of Deadpool Wolverine, Ryan Reynolds, despite his poor reputation in the media right now, according to the Hollywood Reporter, he's developing a Deadpool X-Men team-up film, which is weird because isn't Deadpool already an X-Men? So I don't get that. But here's the article. Ryan Reynolds in early stages of exploring a Deadpool and X-Men team-up movie exclusive. The Deadpool mastermind is toying with the writing treatments for a film that would feature 3 or 4 members of Marvel's mutant team, but has not yet pitched the idea to the studio. Let's see, is there a direct quote in here, or is this just he's exploring ideas for a Deadpool movie that would feature X-Men characters as well as continuing to script the Paramount comedy boy band after making blah, 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 blah. We get it. 3 or 4, likely would feature 3 or 4 X-Men characters. Deadpool would, of course, appear, but perhaps only as a supportive player. Reynolds is said to believe that keeping his F-bomb wielding anti-hero more on the sideline would allow more X-Men characters to be used in unexpected ways. That's very selfless of him. Reynolds has been open about every Deadpool movie needing a strong reason to exist, and it's possible this could prove to be the avenue he needs. The potential film is separate from another potential X-Men film being directed by Michael Leslie, penning for Marvel Studios. Okay, this is interesting. We'll see if this plays out. This is just kind of a brief update, but I don't know if I like Ryan Reynolds as an actor, but given his current reputation right now, I just don't know if he's going to be a viable talent in the future. We'll see, you know. I mean, what he's been doing, how he's been acting has been just embarrassing behavior, but maybe him willingly taking a supporting role in the MCU instead of a leading role is his way of trying to save his PR reputation. We'll see how that goes. We talked a lot about Marvel. Needless to say, all I've been trying to say is that Doomsday needs to perform well. Secret Wars needs to perform well. These are big movies that are going to really show if superhero fatigue is sinking in or not. And before I get into my full thoughts on superhero fatigue, let's just talk about some brief Superman DCU stuff recently. I know there's a rumor going around about this hashtag supershite rumor that Superman will be taking on cancel culture, and that this is kind of like an autobiographical element from James Gunn's life. It's a rumor. It's not confirmed. I don't know if I believe it. I know a lot of people do believe it. We'll see when the film comes out. It could be a small part of the movie, could be a big part of the movie. I don't like it, though. I just don't like the sound of it. And if James Gunn is using this as a way to kind of give a middle finger to people who try to cancel him, the Snyder Bros, whatever, it's a bad move. Like, if this is an ego move from James Gunn, come on, man. Like, put your ego aside and just make a good movie. We all know you're a great filmmaker. We all love your movies. Just make a good movie and appease the audience who just want to be entertained. That's all we want. Yeah, this is not about you. This is much bigger than you. This is about giving Superman fans, DC fans, what they've been wanting for a long time, and that's a decent movie with the Man of Steel that we haven't gotten in a long time, over 10 years. So just put egos aside, everybody, and let's just make a good movie, okay? Okay. Thanks for coming to my pep talk. But that's not the only thing that DC has going for that's not great. As I said, Marvel's got some mixed reputation right now with the Jeremy Renner situation and the reception to Thunderbolts, but they have not just the super shite thing going on, but now production being halted for Sergeant Rock. This is via Deadline. Sergeant Rock halts pre-production, now eyeing a summer 2026 production start. Initially, there were reports saying that the film was outright canceled. That seems to be not true. It's just put on hold because they couldn't pull the film together. Sergeant Rock, DC superhero flick to team Luca Guadagnino, whatever his name is, and the Penguin's Colin Farrell, has halted production plans, sources have confirmed to Deadline. While the film was supposed to enter production in the coming months, we're now told it'll look to shoot next summer. Studio insiders have said that ultimately shooting this summer was untenable, as the team would have had to rush through prep to hit right weather conditions at the right time. The film is being shot primarily on location in the UK, and shooting exteriors in the dead of winter would not have been optimal conditions for the cast, crew, and equipment. The news comes as a shock as the film was greenlit months ago, while a $65 million budget was given and with plans to shoot in August. Sources close to the project say that Guadagnino was scouting locations last week, and the studio was far down the line with Alien Romulus breakout star David Johnson to join Farrell, as well as Challenger star Mikey Feist, who had an offer. The film was set in World War II, with, again, Farrell playing Sergeant Rock, Franklin John Rock. Details that Daniel Craig was supposed to be in it. It would have been a much better choice. He exited. Yeah, so it's canceled. Not canceled. It's on hold. It may shoot next year. Bit of an embarrassing blow because they've been trying to get this film to get off the ground for a while now. But reportedly, according to a tweet from Culture Crave, DC loves the movie. Scheduling is reportedly the main issue, and it requires a ton of exterior shoots. They'll try to shoot again in summer 2026. And the plot follows Sergeant Rock trying to find the Holy Spear before the Nazis. So it kind of has like an Indiana Jones quality to it. And ironically, Indiana Jones had the spear. We saw a version of the spear, the Holy Scepter, in Dial of Destiny, the Indiana Jones 5th movie that I absolutely hated. One of these days I'll get my thoughts out there. Yeah, so not the greatest look. I also think it's really funny that James Gunn wanted Colin Farrell, who's already the Penguin in the Batman. Not that the Batman's connected to the DCU, but he wanted Colin Farrell to be in Sergeant Rock. And that's interesting because I know there's rumors of a power play going on between Matt Reeves and James Gunn. Basically, James Gunn may want the Batman universe outright canceled so that they can prioritize the Brave and the Bold Batman. And Matt Reeves is reportedly withholding the script from James Gunn because he doesn't believe he needs to see it, because he reports to the heads of DC Film, who were his bosses. So really reportedly tensionous, what am I trying to say? Bad situation. A lot of tensions, a lot of egos, brushing up against each other at DC, and hopefully it doesn't get the better of everybody. Also, I've said before, I'm not a fan of Luca Guadagnino. He makes really weird movies. Call Me by Your Name sounds like a really weird film. It's about an older man who has a relationship with a young boy. Really bizarre, disgusting behavior. He had another film about cannibals, and then he had this movie Challengers, was about these two guys who had a threesome with Zendaya, and like the power play of that. Just really weird sexual situations that he's doing with kids, with teenagers, and I just find that to be very not great for the culture. So I'm not a fan of his. And it's just weird that he wants to make a Sergeant Rock movie with all the movies he's made. Like, oh, Sergeant Rock. this gritty action adventure war film with Daniel Craig, who he also made a weird movie. It's called Queer, a movie called Queer, where he's this reclusive gay man who pursues and stalks this younger man. Just again, he makes weird movies. Not great films for the culture. I'm not a fan. Not a fan. But the fact that he wants to make a Sergeant Rock movie just seems really out of the blue. Really out of the blue. It just seems like, oh, hey, he wants to make something. Let's make content. Content. We need content. So Sergeant Rock, let's go. I don't doubt that Sergeant Rock is a character that the DCU wants to prioritize. Maybe he'll, I mean, I know he has his fans, of course. It's not against the character itself. It's just, it's a weird situation. And DC is starting out, they're trying to build a cinematic universe. They got off to an okay start with Creature Commandos. Superman is the big kickoff, and with all the rumors of all these different plot leaks and stuff, it's hard to know if this movie's going to work or not. I'm still excited. I remain optimistic. It's my all-time. It's my most anticipated film of the year so far, so I'm looking forward to it. But it's just there's just a lot we don't know. It just remains to be seen if this is going to hit off the way that they hope. Because it's another cinematic universe on top of Marvel. I believe they're probably starting out the way they should have from the beginning. And they're starting out strong with Superman, the most popular, most recognizable DC hero. But this all comes back to superhero fatigue. Is it real? Is it here? And what do we do about it? We didn't get to this point where superhero films dominated the culture until 2008 with Iron Man. And it's blown up. It's become a $1 billion industry, $1 billion genre ever since. And there's definitely a question to be had about like the number of movies and TV shows that are made in the superhero genre, and if that constitutes concerns for superhero fatigue. So I have a list of every movie or TV show since Iron Man that has come out. So let's just go through that list. I'm not going to list off everything. I'm just going to generalize. So in 2008, you had movies like Iron Man, The Dark Knight, Incredible Hulk, Punisher, Warzone, The Spirit, the spoof film superhero movie, Hancock, Watchmen, X-Men Origins, that was 2009, as well as Watchmen. So you had a couple Marvel movies, but they weren't like in the cinematic universe, not like Incredible Hulk and Iron Man were. Then in 2009, you had X-Men Origins Wolverine. 2010, you had Iron Man 2, Jonah Hex, Kick-Ass Thor. Thor was 2011. But in 2011, you had Thor, X-Men First Class, Green Lantern, Captain America. And then 2012, you had the Avengers, Amazing Spider-Man, Dark Knight Rises, Dread. 2013, Iron Man 3, Man of Steel, The Wolverine, Kick-Ass 2, Thor the Dark World. 2014, Captain America the Winter Soldier, Amazing Spider-Man 2, X-Men Days of Future Past, Guardians of the Galaxy, Big Hero 6. 2015, Avengers Age of Ultron, Ant-Man, Fantastic, Deadpool, Batman v Superman, 2016, Batman v Superman, Captain America Civil War, X-Men Apocalypse, Suicide Squad, Doctor Strange. 2017, Logan, Guardians Volume 2, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man Homecoming, Thor Ragnarok, Justice League, Black Panther. 2018, Avengers Infinity War, Deadpool 2, Incredibles 2, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Venom, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Aquaman. And that was all just 2018. So then 2018, 10 years later, there's an explosion of superhero films. And these are mostly just movies. They're not even really TV shows. Or maybe this list isn't including TV shows. It doesn't seem like it. And then 2019, it reaches its climax, its ultimatum, as you will, with Endgame, Shazam, Captain Marvel, Dark Phoenix, Spider-Man Far From Home, and the Joker. And now you're starting to explore like different types of films within the superhero genre with Joker. Dark Phoenix is supposed to be like a more dramatic version of Dark Phoenix because I already tried that. And I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on and on. And just an explosion of superhero films, TV shows. I mean, here's a list of TV shows. You got Avengers, Age of Ultron, or excuse me, Avengers Assemble, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Arrow, Gotham, Flash, Constantine, Agent Carter, Daredevil, Powers, Supergirl, Jessica Jones, Legends of Tomorrow, the whole DC CW universe, Iron Fist, Legion, The Defenders, The Gifted, The Inhumans, The Punisher, Runaways, Black Lightning, Krypton, Cloak and Dagger, Supergirl, Doom Patrol, Batwoman, Watchmen, Stargirl, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Superman and Lois, WandaVision, What If, Hawkeye, Peacemaker, Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, Sandman, Werewolf by Night, Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. Needless to say, there's an explosion of content, and maybe I need to do a longer episode on this because I have a lot of thoughts on superhero fatigue, but just based on like Marvel's reception right now and DC's reception right now, are we in a state of superhero fatigue? Is it sit in? Is it coming? Where are we? Here's what I think. Yes and no. Yes, I think superhero fatigue is a thing, but it's not because audiences just don't want to see superhero films anymore. We're getting too many. This goes back to what I was saying about Disney Plus. There's an explosion of shows, and you have to watch all those shows. It almost feels like homework, as Kevin Feige said. It just doesn't feel like fun anymore. Like you're watching the characters you want to watch because you like them. Like you have to invest in other characters that you may not enjoy just to make sense of everything. Whereas a cameo from a side character in Ms. Marvel and Daredevil Born Again, you just get that, oh, it's Ms. Marvel's dad. I don't need to see all the Ms. Marvel shows or movies to understand, oh, that's just a person from Ms. Marvel. Cool. It worked. I didn't need to feel like I didn't have to do homework to understand that. I got it right away. More stuff like that, I think, is how you avoid Marvel films and the cinematic universes feeling like homework. Now, DC, they got an uphill battle. They're starting new. And Superman has a lot of people who are for it and a lot of people who are against it. And it's going to have to prove everybody wrong, all the haters. And I think it's going to be great. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Hopefully the super shite rumors are not true, but we'll see. They seem to be trying to release a respectful amount of content. I think they said like maybe 2 movies a year and like 3 TV shows, which I think 3 TV shows is a lot. Maybe 1, maybe 2. Why do we need multiple shows in that regard? I mean, just make the shows good. Of course, that's the first prerogative, but why do we need so much? I get that these are independent studios, but still, it's just a lot of content. I think that needs to go down. The amount of content. Also, we need to just get rid of wokeness. That is the biggest thing that has detracted Disney, Marvel, all these superhero shows. That is why people don't want to see these. It's not because of fatigue. It's because the quality is bad and there's too much of it and wokeness. I really believe that. Those 3 things: quality, quantity, and wokeness. So we figure that out. I think superhero films will survive. Maybe they won't have the type of reception that they had, but I mean, people love these characters. Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, they've been around for years, and they will continue to be retooled, rebooted, reiterated for years to come because people like seeing these characters. It's the same thing with Bond, same thing with Mission Impossible. We're going to want to see these characters continue in new iterations and new forms because we like them. Superman's been around since I'm going to say since like the 50s. Whenever Batman and Superman comics were made, and when they were detective comics, they've been around for a long time and they always will be. I think the best way to avoid superhero fatigue is just making good movies and making fewer movies. And it seems like that's what Marvel is focusing on. Now that they don't have a mandate to make Disney Plus content, they're going to focus on fewer films, higher quality. And I think you're seeing the beginnings of that with Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts, I think, is the first in this new era of Marvel where we are getting fewer films, fewer shows, but higher quality. And again, say what you want about Daredevil, it was well received. It was good. Not the greatest, but it was good enough, in my opinion. DC again has an uphill battle, so we'll see if they can overcome the odds and deliver on the promises they made. But I don't think superhero fatigue is sitting in. I just think superhero films have to evolve, and they have to get rid of the corporatization and DEIification of film and cinema in order to be profitable again. And we'll know for sure, I think, after this year, and especially after Superman, and especially after Doomsday and Secret Wars, if the superhero genre is still maybe not the top of the cultural discussion, but still relevant. And if it's still relevant, I think we got a ways to go before superhero fatigue officially kicks in, if it ever does. So that's all my thoughts on that. I maybe should have devoted more time to my actual opinion on that because I made you guys wait so long. But that's what I think. Let me know in the comments below if you guys have if you have different thoughts and opinions. I'd love to have a conversation about superhero fatigue and the future of superhero films, Marvel, DC, and all that. I hope you guys know that I don't just want to talk about superhero films all the time. I love these big budget blockbusters because that's the arena I want to play in, science fiction, action, adventure movies. But I do love talking about the smaller things. I mean, hopefully with the good, the bad, and the ugly. I love talking about a good all-time great that is not a franchise film. But this was fun. This was fun to talk about. I love talking about these things. And next week, we're going to have a really, really cool episode. I have a special guest coming on who has been a regular. It's been a long time since he's been on the show, but he's coming back. And we're going to get in the weeds. And I'm looking forward to that a lot. So thank you guys for listening to this episode of the Vince Salerno podcast, or watching. If you liked it, hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. You can check out my short films and other episodes of the Vince Salerno podcast, trailer reactions, my shorts, all that good stuff. Thank you for listening and watching. Have a fantastic day. God bless, and peace out.